This has one of the best endings in all of anime, and I will fight you on that till the day I die. I can't put it into words. You see the thumbnail. You see the amazingness that was on the screen. I literally can't put it into words. It is, without a doubt, one of the best endings in all of anime. But does that make the movie automatically great? Well, yes, but also because of the fact that the movie itself is just amazing. Yeah, no spoilers here, but this movie is fantastic, and I'm excited to talk about it. So let's talk about it. What's up? What's happening? What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Animation Station, which is just for anything animation, including TV and movies as well. I'm your host, Jackson Small. Welcome back to our little weird Halloween X4 Academia April collaboration thing, as we take a look at the second movie in the My Hero Academia series, My Hero Academia Heroes Rising. Now, this is another one I didn't get to see when it first came out, for a couple of different reasons. But I finally got to see it, I want to say around 2022, somewhere around the time, or somewhere after the time that the third one came out. So, yeah, I didn't get to see this one until later once again, but trust me when I say it was worth it. This movie is awesome, and I'm excited to talk about it, even if my review is a bit brief and to the point. So, without further ado or delay, let's talk about the amazing awesomeness that is My Hero Academia Movie 2, Heroes Rising. Here's my review, spoiler-free as always. I hope you enjoy. The first one was great, but this second one is absolutely outstanding. Whereas the first movie was a bit simplistic and only took place in a single building, for the most part outside of flashbacks, this second film ups the ante by taking place on a huge isolated island. And that's not the only thing that's upped from the original either, as there's also a ton more action and more than just one main villain, which also means there's a lot more fights. Like, way more fights. Like, take all the fights from the first movie, Two Heroes, and multiply it. That's what you get here. You multiply that by 2, you get twice the amount of battles. What's also great here is that most positives of Two Heroes are still intact, and in some ways even enhanced. The animation is excellent, especially in the final act, where it just transcends into indescribable heights. In other words, it's on par with Gogeta vs. Broly from DBS Broly. I'm not gonna even try to make an if, and, or but about that. It is on the same level, and it's just as amazing. Even more great voice acting, especially Clifford Chaplin as Bakugo in one of his best performances as the character. I would argue that Bakugo is the main character of this movie more so than Deku. And I think that's a great thing because, well, Bakugo is my favorite character. Sorry, Midoriya. I always love Bakugo. He's always been my favorite since I started watching the show. Amazing action that's far more frequent and dynamic. Pacing is a little slower than Two Heroes, but perfect for the story told, which is also quite good. The story in this one's a lot less simplistic, and it's a lot more grandiose, and I think they did a pretty good job at both. Stakes are exponentially higher, with 0 pro heroes to help Class 1A. Class 1A is entirely on their own here, with pretty much little to no help outside of Hawks, and he does little to nothing. Another brisk runtime, rewatchability even higher than the first, and the best part of the entire movie, the final battle, which is one of the most amazing fights in not just the My Hero Academia franchise, but in all of anime. How to sum it up without giving up too much? Double, one for all, on a collapsing battlefield. Not saying anything more than that because you need to see it for yourself. And yes, this battle is right up there with Gogeta vs. Broly. However, all these enhancements came with one unfortunate detriment that keeps this movie from being able to be perfect. And that is that the villains are unfortunately not very good. I really liked the villain in Two Heroes. It had a nice tie-in with the story, it made sense because he was tied into the backstory with All Might, and I understood his motives. He was a good, sympathetic, one-off villain. The villains in this movie are a bit more your standard, usual superhero movie fare. They just want to take over the world. That's pretty much it. They're not bad, but like Hachiyak from DBZ, it's all design and no personality. No offense to the voice actors, they tried, but these characters are just not interesting and extremely boring. Not to mention the main character, the main villain himself, is a ripoff of Overhaul from the actual anime. That's a small price to pay, though, because this is a stellar animated movie and a huge upgrade from the first, and that ending alone makes it worth watching. Highly recommended regardless of its one flaw, whether you're a fan of this show or not, and that ending really needs to be seen to be believed. It is one of the coolest endings you will ever see on a cinema screen. It is that good. It is that transcendent, and I've seen reactions to it all over YouTube, and people have legitimately cried because of it. Yes, I shit you not. And I do not care if that makes any of us look soft to some people. Like, emotions are what make you human, guys. Don't be ashamed of it. But yeah, the movie is literally so good in its final act that it brought people to tears. I need to say nothing more. Final verdict for this movie is a very high 9 out of 10. If the villains were not such throwaway, forgettable, cheap cutouts, this probably would be a 10. It gets super close at times, especially with that ending. But it does draw it back a little bit, but not enough to at all hamper my enjoyment. This movie is absolutely phenomenal and outstanding, and I can see why it broke the internet when it came out. I just wish I got to see it when it initially came out so I could have joined the hype train rather than being on the after side of it. But regardless, awesome, fantastic, dare I say, kick-ass animated movie that even if you aren't a fan of the series, I think you're really going to enjoy just from a pure animation standpoint. Definitely watch this movie if you haven't already. It's worth watching at least once. Okay, that's it. Now for the one that I actually have spoken about before, but in one of my older, really bad videos. For those of you that don't remember, there was a video that I did on my old channel, Luminous Sane 27, called The Best Movies of 2021. I originally had a lot of editing in that video, but for whatever reason I accidentally uploaded the wrong one. And I'm still kicking myself because of it, because I did such a good editing job on that one, dude, seriously. But does it still hold up as well today as it did then? Well, it's been 3 years since it came out, so I think it's about time that we give it a proper reevaluation. And it's the last one to cover before the new one, so yep, we're already almost done talking about all these movies because there's only 2 more to go, and one of them comes out tomorrow, but I'm not going to be able to review it until later, for reasons I will talk about in a different video. So, I'll see you guys next time when we do a reevaluation of one of my favorite movies of 2021, My Hero Academia Movie 3 World Heroes Mission.
Listen, I will soon forget. So listen and you won't regret. Be true to yourself, don't miss your chance, and you won't end up like the fool who ripped his pants.